There was a Twitter back and forth, which is kind of the talk of the greater industry this morning, between Rafael Colantonio, who is the founder of Arcane Studios, who's no longer with, I don't think.
He is now with Wolfeye.
Yeah.
They made Weird West, and they have an awesome new game coming out.
He tweeted out, "Why is no one talking about the elephant in the room? Cough, cough," and then parenthesis, Game Pass. Prompted a user to ask him, as a dev, what are your thoughts on Game Pass? He responded, "I think Game Pass is an unsustainable model that has been increasingly damaging for the industry for a decade, subsidized by Microsoft's, quote, infinite money, end quote, but at some point, reality has to hit. I don't think Game Pass can coexist with other models. They'll either kill everyone else or give up." My community was very quick to point out, Rami said that exact thing, kind of a different form, a couple of years ago on the show. So it seems like this is an ongoing collective thought amongst a lot of developers.
People have kind of been saying this since Game Pass came out.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the biggest points of contention when it was first being released conceptually.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a huge issue. It absolutely is. And Raph is absolutely right. And honestly, like what's interesting is we're seeing the ramification. We just did. I mean, look at this. Microsoft with its wildly successful Game Pass and everything's working so great, just fired 9,000 people. So clearly this is like, no, it's not sustainable at all. And it's working arguably as pretty much best as it could right now.
And so this prompted for Crom over at Larian. He jumped into the conversation and quit and said, "What happens when all the money runs out? Question mark is the most vocal concern in my network and one of the main economic reasons people I know haven't shifted to its business model. The infinite money thing never made any sense." Raphael responded, "I agree. I'm fed up with all the BS they fed us at first. Like, don't worry, it doesn't impact the sales, only to admit years later that it totally does. No shit, it does." And then we had a bunch of other folk jump in. "I don't think Game Pass was made to be profitable, sustainable in the short to the medium term. Microsoft is running a marathon. Game Pass was also instrumental in Microsoft's attempt at pushing streaming to the forefront of the market." Raphael responded and said, "I agree, but it's a long game that involves throwing a tsunami at the entire ecosystem of the industry. Only the gamers like it because the offer is too good to be true, but eventually even gamers will hate it because they realize the effects on the games." I don't know.
It's a fantastic value.
Yeah, I think that
not,
narrative will always eclipse the other narrative that he mentioned, because you're right, it's insane.
Still a good value.
Right.
So that's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, it sucks to know that the only way that it would be sustainable is if you got to a point where you plateau and stay there and be happy with that. You get to this number of
how it works.
I know that.